Welcome everybody to the MrBoxingguru podcast. It is me, Sal, MrBoxingguru, your host. Happy Monday, if it is Monday that you're listening to this. Again, thank you so much for taking the opportunity to listen to this. Again, it's only getting better. The stutters hopefully are going away. And we could get started with a good show. Now, today we have a very interesting show. I just got back from the 360 show. So, again, I'm recording this a little late. I think it's now midnight. So, uh, again, happy Monday. We got the MUNGUIA fight. We got Zhu Can versus Jesus Rojas. We have Virgil Ortiz that fought this weekend. We fought, what do we have? Keith Thurman, JOSESITO, Lopez. So, let's get to it, man, because it was very interesting, very fun. And again, a lot of good stuff actually happened. So, first things first is Jaime Munguia defended his WBO junior middleweight title versus Takashi Inoue. No, it's not the Takashi, the one with the rainbow hair, but it's actually Takeshi, not Takashi. So, Takeshi Inoue. And what a fun fight. Honestly, on paper, I didn't think this was going to be much of a fight. I thought I wanted to go see some friends that came from Texas playing that they are going to be doing my intro. So big shout out to the Anaya brothers. I'm going to start using their intro pretty soon, and they're great music for you guys that like norteño music. So it's going to be a quick little intro that we're going to use, but nonetheless, I thought it was going to be a quick and short fight. I thought it was one of those fights where okay, this kid's just we're gonna showcase the fighter on the zone, and we're gonna move forward. But no. You know what? Inoue was on Munguia's ass, and he was the aggressor the whole fight. Yes, Munguia fought, but it almost seems like Alcazar is trying to transform him into something that he's not. Look, Munguia is a very big kid for 154, and in my opinion, even for 160 pounds. But Alcazar always tries to do this to his fighters. Try to have him on his toes, just jumping around, moving on the ring, a lot of nervous energy, sort of like Oscar De La Hoya. But he has to understand, fighters like Oscar De La Hoya comes one in a lifetime. He's never gonna see another fighter like that. So for him to try to make all these fighters that he gets, he tried doing that with Jesse Vargas as well, and now he's trying to do it with Munguia. It's just not gonna happen. Munguia is one of those fighters that has a very imposing style, so why not take advantage of that? Yes, he should have had Munguia keeping Inoue at the end of a stick, and just use his jab and follow through with everything behind the jab, but he didn't do that. So is it time for Alcazar to just go away? I mean, do we have to read some of the playbook from Oscar De La Hoya, how he got rid of him very quickly in his career? I mean, again, it's always very easy to blame the trainer, and most fighters do, but in this case, you have to kind of look at the pros and cons. Was this really something that was brought in by Munguia, or was it actually Alcazar? Alcazar has a proven track record of him trying to do this to his fighters, where he tries to, just have him on his toes, and sometimes, again, these fighters don't have it to where they should do that. And this case, you can't help but to think of how would Munguia do with a trainer like Robert Garcia? How would he do with a trainer like Joel Diaz, somebody that would just teach him how to impose his will on these fighters? And also, one thing that I got from Inoue, because let's not just make it all about Jaime Munguia, but Inoue, how would he do at 160 versus a guy like Lemieux that's about the same size, bull, stocky? I think it'll be a great fight. Now, would he be willing to go to 160? I mean, who knows? But I don't know. Something right after the fight, that's something that I thought about. I mean, how great would a fight with Inoue and Lemieux be? And also, just to take it back to Munguia, does he really need to get rid of that belt? Because from my understanding, he was struggling a lot to make 154 pounds. Does he need to get rid of the belt and just go back to basics and actually transform himself into a legitimate 160-pound contender. I would like to see him do that just because I think the belt came too easy. Look who he won it from. Cotto originally had the belt. I don't recall, at least at the top of my head, who Cotto had it, but at the end of the day, Saddam Ali took it from him. It was a very old Cotto that really got old overnight. And then Munguia took it from Saddam Ali. Saddam Ali, of course, is a natural 147-pounder. At least that's what his chin tells us. So it's time, and it was a great belt to get it because at least he accomplished that. Jaime Munguia is now a champion, but now it's time to develop him as a 160-pound champ. So it's time to take it easy, bring him up the right way, and eventually get what he wants, because I know he wants those monsters at 160. He wants that super fight with Canelo. And I get it. That's the reason to go to Golden Boy. But now it's time to build him into an actual title contender, but at 160 pounds. Now, on that same card, we had Zhu Can, who actually took on Jesus Rojas. And actually, not only did he take on Jesus Rojas, he actually took his belt in a very fan-friendly fight. Look, this fight, in my opinion, is the best fight of 2019, hands down, as far as action was. I mean, this is a very fan-friendly fight. We got to see a lot of blows, a lot of chingados thrown from beginning to end. And when it's all said and done, we have to think about, so what now? Does Rojas get his rematch? Because he sure as hell deserves it. A lot of people saw him winning the fight. I saw one fighter that went out to Twitter and immediately said, I won the Can fight, the Shu Can fight, and that was Jojo Diaz. But then again, Jojo has a tough assignment versus Charles Huerta, so I would hope Jojo's not overlooking him. So if Jojo can make the 126 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, would that be a great fight? Would that be something they would like to make? Absolutely. I think Jojo is craving for a belt. He beat Rojas last time, but of course, we all know about the Jojo not making the weight, so that was out of the question. Hopefully, I mean that's something that popped in right into my head. As soon as I saw Jojo's tweet, I said, okay, maybe this is something that we could work with. Hopefully, he gets a fight. But then again, Charles is a hell of a fighter, man. It's gonna be difficult trying to top Charles, and I really can't wait for their fight on the 9th of August on DAZN. So on the undercard of this, DAZN card as well, was Virgil Ortiz actually stopped Jesus Valdez. Now, Valdez didn't get to see the 6th round. This is a very durable Valdez, but let's be honest. Valdez is a 130-pound fighter. You're asking Valdez to fight like what, 144? Because I don't think Virgil Ortiz was able to make the weight. But the fact of the matter, but I like what they're doing with Virgil Ortiz. Look, Golden Boy knows what they're doing. They have their top guys, but they know which ones to promote and which ones are going to generate interest, and they know which ones they can build into big attractions in the future. Virgil Ortiz, we know he's not that guy that's calling out fighters. He's not doing Kiki videos. He's not saying, oh, I want to fight Manny Pacquiao sometimes. He's not saying, oh, where's Tank? I want to fight Tank. He's not out there looking for clout, calling out fighters that we all know are not going to happen right now. He's not that chihuahua barking behind the fence. He knows whose job is it to promote. Well-spoken kid and whatnot, but he's not going to talk out of his ass like some of the other Golden Boy fighters. So he lets that circus to the side. He lets Oscar handle that and whatnot. He doesn't get involved in that. But what they are doing, and of course I credit that to Golden Boy matchmaker Robert Diaz, is that he's matching him with the right opponent at the right time. I think Virgil is in to the point where he's maybe about 2-3 fights from actually fighting for a title. And based on the 140-pound landscape, I think grabbing some portion of an alphabet belt is very obtainable. With all these super champions, then regular champions and whatnot, I think it's something that can be done by the end of either this year or early next year. So kudos to Golden Boy. I think if there's one fighter that they have that the overall public should be looking at is really Virgil Ortiz. I haven't seen something this special, at least in my opinion, since Fernando Vargas. And to a certain extent, I mean, I know it sounds crazy now, but Victor Ortiz. But if you guys remember right, when Victor Ortiz was coming up, he was looking like a monster. I think one of his first fights that I really got to see, like really focus on Victor Ortiz, was versus Arne Udis, and that was a hell of a fight. So, but nonetheless, he's a great fighter, Virgil Ortiz, and I think he's the goods, and hopefully Golden Boy does good work for him. As far as on the other side of the, what was this in New York? And it actually was on Fox, on regular Fox on your channel 11 if you're in LA or wherever you're at, your Fox channel. We had Keith Thurman beats Josesito Lopez just as planned, because this was a tune-up. This is Keith Thurman's get back year, so he beat Josesito Lopez. But what do we learn here? I mean, he was supposed to beat Josesito Lopez. We all said that if there was ever a chance, this was it for Josesito Lopez to win versus a monster like Keith Thurman. But what did Keith Thurman show us? I mean, he got, on the 7th round or something like that, I believe? His head was wobbled all over the place. If it wasn't because Lopez blew his load, he might have even been stopped there. And this is the biggest, most eloquent talker that PBC has, that could apparently beat everyone and their mom. But you also got to think about, what if a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao would have been in there that night instead of a guy like Josesito Lopez? Or even worse, a young Terrence Crawford, a Errol Spence, shit, even a Mikey Garcia. Any of those guys, in my opinion, would have pulled it off and got the upset. Now, again, let's give Keith the benefit of the doubt. It has been over 2 years, or about 2 years, that he's been out of the ring. But you can't help to kind of think, what would really happen if you fought another fighter? Now, I hear all these people saying, well, he hasn't been hit in the face in so long. Yeah, he has. You know, it's not like it's his first day back in the gym. He's been working out. He's been fighting. He's been sparring. You remember, these fights are won in sparring in the gym. So he has been putting in that work. So hopefully we get to see a better version of Keith. But if this is the Keith that we got now, that's struggling with C-level opponents, man, are we in for a rough 2019 for one time, Keith Thurman. Like I told you guys earlier, I just got back a little earlier from Tom Loeffler's 360 event, and big shout out to Tom Loeffler, Mike Styles. Every time I go to their event, they're always very courteous, very kind. They really take care of me as a boxing fan, you know, or as some actually say as part of boxing media. They put on great fun events, especially on the Sunday. I mean, which is a lot better to get to than, you know, them fighting on a Monday or a Tuesday. But it was a good card. You know, I went to see a fighter, George Navarro, which, you know, wear the Adidas gloves today. So he got his impressive knockout. Hopefully we get to see a good future from him. But the main event that they had was Marisela Cornejo, and supposedly she won versus Erin Tuhill. Now, Tuhill is a 40-year-old lady that hasn't been active as a boxer in over a decade. Now, I don't know about you guys, but you don't get a gimme fight like that. You know, at least not as a regular fighter, and Marisela Cornejo got that. Now, kudos to Tom for jumping on that. He saw somebody that got released from their contract, or their contract expired, from Golden Boy and Cornejo, and decided to, you know, put two girls and make it an event, and it was a fun event to go to. But we also have to be equal as possible when it comes to calling these fights. We can't cry wolf on certain fighters, not on the other. Marisela Cornejo did not win that fight. Marisela Cornejo won maybe 3 rounds off of that fight. You see, and this is what turns people off of boxing. You know, you want to support women boxing. You want to see women boxing do well. When you get these type of decisions, I mean, do you really want to go through the motions of this? I mean, this girl didn't win the fight, but somehow we gave it to her. And they weren't even gracious and taking and accepting that they really lost the fight. They just took that W and like it was a nothing. So kudos to Erin. I know this was a tough task. I was really rooting for her because I wanted to see her do good. I mean, I know Cornejo is not much of a fighter, and it showed in the ring. So yeah, that was that. That was that from 360 show. Again, I saw a lot of fun folks. I saw Fino Boxing. Good folks at Fino Boxing. We saw my good friend Fern, 323. A lot of you guys might know him. He's worked at every boxing media company I think there is. I saw my man from the Boxing Rundown, Rodrigo Molinar from War Media. Just a bunch of folks, and glad to see everybody in the boxing media is still friendly to each other. But that's it as far as this weekend goes. Let's talk about what we have for next week, because I think next weekend on ESPN, I think it's February 2nd on Saturday, we have the rematch of Sergey Kovalev versus Elder Alvarez. Now, Alvarez, the Colombian, Alvarez last time actually knocked out Kovalev. I'm not sure why this fight is being done so soon, but kudos to Kovalev for taking on the fight. Now the question is it a repeat from last fight, or is this actual redemption? Now, there's a couple of things that are kind of strike me as odd. I mean, you got to think about Kovalev going through all this with legal matters that are going on and whatever's going on there. He's got Buddy McGirt in his corner too, so expect for this fight to be stopped prematurely, because everybody knows Buddy McGirt. If Buddy McGirt's your trainer, he has U.S.'s best interest, so he's going to try to stop the fight as soon as possible and make sure he gives you another chance to fight another day. Good, but at the same time, kind of bad for the fan, because you don't get to see that well-deserved knockout that the other guy created. So that's it for Kovalev. I mean, what do you guys? I'm curious to know what other people think about this, but Kovalev, in my opinion, gets knocked out in under 6 rounds. The fight gets stopped, and it gets stopped prematurely by the good old Buddy McGirt. And that ends that. That ends the reign of Kovalev. That's another L to the NWA shirt that I created a couple of years back. But nonetheless, it should be a fun fight. You're gonna get a knockout, and the undercard is stacked, because we gotta think about it. We got Teofimo Lopez versus Diego Magdaleno on that undercard. It's gonna be a fun fight until Teofimo Lopez decides, yeah, it's time for my Fortnite dance, so let me get out of here and let me do my little patitas and do whatnot. Diego Magdaleno is a good opponent at this time for Teofimo Lopez, and kind of to go back on what I was talking about earlier about Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is getting progressed the right way, is giving the right opponent at the right time. I think Diego Magdaleno is the right opponent for Teofimo Lopez. And the fact that they're fighting him so soon is amazing, because I mean, we the more we get to see a Teofimo Lopez, the better. We get to see exactly if he really is the goods or if he's another dud. Right now he's looking like he's the goods. He's at the top of his class right now, and I really can't wait to see the kid and his Fortnite dance. On the same card, we actually get Oscar Valdez versus Carmine Tomasson. Now, remember, this is Valdez get back fight. This is the fight where Valdez gets rid of the cobwebs, but at the same time, he gets rid of the demons. I can't wait to see how he does with his new trainer. You remember, Valdez was always trained by Manny Robles, Legends Gym. Now he's being trained out of San Diego with Eddie Reynoso and again, Canelo's team. So can't wait to see they added some wrinkles to his game. I know that at least in the interviews that I've seen from Eddie Reynoso, what he was trying to get rid of is um, not so much his aggressiveness, but for him to be thinking a little more in the ring, bit more defensive minded, but at the same time not to take the explosiveness that he has. So really can't wait. It's going to be a fun card. It's February 2nd is going to be great on ESPN. But again, guys, this is it. Nice and short. 20 minutes of nonstop talk for myself is really a lot, especially without interruption, any type of feedback. So again, if you done so far, thank you so much. Remember, guys, please subscribe. Leave your rating. 5-star rating is always best on iTunes. This is available on YouTube as well. It's available on Spreaker.com or Spreaker app. This is available on Spotify. So please download, share it to your friends, family. But again, nonetheless, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. All feedback is good. Feedback, good or bad. I think everyone that sent me feedback so far, I've either implemented or I'm planning on using it. Yes, I'm working on an intro. It's going to work. And hopefully I start getting you interviews with actual fighters soon. So hopefully we have something by the end of the week and we can get going with this. Guys, thank you so much again. And this is the MrBoxingguru podcast. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good one. Bye-bye.